Tonight on Week 5 of the Fox 14 Press Box, the Carthage Tigers hit the field at home, aiming to get to 5-1 against Ozark. The Joplin Eagles try to bounce back from their first loss of the season, hosting the Republic Tigers. A big matchup in the Big 8 with McDonald County hosting the Lamar Tigers. Both teams enter the night in the top 10 in the state rankings. In Kansas, Galena hits the road for a CNC battle against the 3-1 Baxter Springs Lions. Columbus hosts a league rivalry game against Frontenac, while Fort Scott and Labette County meet for an SEK showdown in Fort Scott. And in Oklahoma, the Quapaw Wildcats host Commerce, looking to rebound from last week's loss to Colcord. This is the four states' only 30-minute high school football highlight show. This is Week 5 of the Fox 14 Press Box, and it starts right now.
Fox 14's Press Box is sponsored by Missouri Southern State University, Roper Kia, CDL Electric, and Kramer's Quality Meats of Grove.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Week 5 of Press Box here on Fox 14. Fox 14 Sports Director Jacob-Lenard. Here beside me, like every Friday night, is Dani-Terzer.
We have a lot of big games across the area tonight, but we're going to start in southwest Missouri. The Carthage Tigers are at home tonight, hosting Ozark.
Now, Carthage is 4-1 in their first 5 games of the season. Their only loss was a 1-point loss to Nixa back in Week 3. Now, the Tigers try to stay hot tonight against an Ozark team that's given both Joplin and Webb City tough games already. Start of the second half, Carthage already up double digits. Ozark punted on their first possession, but Carthage fumbled the return, which led to Brady Dodd almost taking it to the house, but he would take it in himself on the next play. Carthage gets the ball back on the next drive, and you know who it is. Luke Gall takes the handoff, sheds a few tackles. He's in from 54 yards away for the touchdown. Carthage pouring it on. Ozark looking to respond. Dodd back to pass, but Tavion Bailey picks it off. Tigers have the possession now, looking to capitalize, and what can't Tavion Bailey do? Takes it in for the score. All Carthage in this one. They take it 49-7. Well, staying in the COC, the Joplin Eagles are at home tonight facing Republic.
The Eagles suffered their first loss of the season last week, falling on the road to Nixa 49-35. Joplin aims to rebound tonight against Republic and get to 5-1 this season. Third quarter, Eagles driving downfield. Hobbs Gooch hits Whit Hafer in stride. He's got some room to run. Big gain for the Eagles. Then Drew Van Gilder takes it in from 1 yard out. 27-14 Joplin. Republic responds. Wyatt Woods keeps. He gets around the outside and in for the score. 6-point game, but not for long. Quinn Renfro finds the end zone for the third time tonight. He gets the 2-point conversion as well. Joplin finishes the job 42-28, the final. The McDonald County Mustangs have caught fire in the last month. After losing their season opener to Mount Vernon, the Mustangs have won 4 straight to get to 4-1 this season.
That 4-game winning streak includes wins over some good teams in Logan Rogersville, Nevada, and Cassville. Now tonight, McDonald County takes aim at another Big 8 powerhouse, hosting the Lamar Tigers. Lamar also 4-1 coming into the night. Pick it up late second, McDonald County on offense. Nice driving progress here. Crossed out though, intercepted. Lamar takes it to the house from 43 yards out. At that point, it's 40-7 Lamar at half. Moving ahead to the third quarter, Terrell Davis with the handoff, sheds a couple defenders, takes it down to the Mustang 9-yard line. The very next play, Alex Wilkerson, like he did plenty of times tonight, calls his own number, gets in easily. 47-7 Lamar at that point. Tigers with the blowout win tonight, rolling over the Mustangs 54-14.
The Seneca Indians are a perfect 5-0 coming into the night. They try to stay unbeaten tonight on the road against Reed Spring. Seneca scores a lot and wins again 63-49. So they're now 6-0 and will be at home next week against East Newton.
The Chanute Blue Comets on the road tonight against Independence. Much shorter trip this week after going to Ulysses a week ago. Anyway, Chanute takes care of business at Indy, winning 34-10. The Blue Comets are now 5-0 this season. They'll be at home against Fort Scott next Friday.
The Baxter Springs Lions suffered their first loss of the season last week, falling on the road to Parsons. Tonight, the Lions are back home, looking to bounce back against Galena.
Now, the Bulldogs are 2-2 in the first month of the season. They got back to 500 last Friday night, beating Columbus 36-22. Galena defense making plays early. On the deep ball here, Zane Turner comes up with the interception for Galena. Later in the quarter, Baxter on the move again, but Tyson Garrison steps in for the pick. It's a little return into Lions territory. And Galena would capitalize on that turnover. Tyler Little takes the direct snap. In for the short touchdown. Bulldogs go up 6-0. Didn't last though. First play of the next Baxter Springs possession, Peyton Gaines to Jacob Grant across the middle. Check out Grant. He'll do the rest. 70-yard touchdown for the Lions. With the PAT, Baxter Springs grabs their first lead, and Galena answers right back. Turner far side to Little. Breaks a couple tackles down the sideline. He's in for 6. Bulldogs back on top, and they would pull away. Galena tops Baxter Springs 52-14. The Girard Trojans 4-0 coming into the night. They hit the road for a district matchup against Prairie View. And Girard rolls in a blowout tonight, 41-8. The Trojans are on the road once again next week, facing the Iola Mustangs.
Another unbeaten team here, the Parsons Vikings at home tonight against Riverton. The Vikings continue to roll, beating Riverton 55-7. Parsons is now 5-0. They've scored at least 39 points in every game. The Vikings will be on the road for a big district matchup next week against Galena. Coming up after the break, we'll go back to the COC with highlights out of Webb City, Neosho, and Carl Junction.
Plus, Nevada hits the field for a Big 8 matchup against Cassville, and later, a CNC rivalry game between Frontenac and Columbus. We'll have all that and more after this. The Nevada Tigers are 4-1 in the first 5 weeks of the season. Now, their only loss was a 1-point loss to McDonald County back in Week 4. The Tigers at home tonight, facing another Big 8 opponent in the Cassville Wildcats. Midway through the first quarter, Case Sanderson on the ground, down the far end of the field, in for the first touchdown of the game. 7-0 home team. Now later in the second quarter, Cade Beshore hands it off to Jordan Johnson. Defender there, but Johnson gets in anyways. At that point, it's 29-0 Tigers. This time, Beshore looking to pass. Nothing there. He sees an opening and takes it, dodges the defenders, gets up to the Wildcats' 10-yard line, and from there, it would be easy for Sanderson. He finds his way into the end zone. 35-0 Nevada. The Tigers handle this one in the end, 62-7. Another one out of the Big 8, the East Newton Patriots host Monette tonight. Both teams 0-5 coming into the night, so somebody leaving happy for the first time this season, and that team is Monette. Final score 28-14. The Cubs host McDonald County next week, while East Newton hits the road to Seneca.
The Webb City Cardinals are at home tonight, hosting the Willard Tigers. Webb City is 3-2 in the first 5 weeks of the season, with those 2 losses coming to Joplin and Nixa. The Cards looking to grab some momentum tonight against Willard before a big game against Carthage next week. Webb City with the ball to start. Landon Johnson gets in for the score. Tigers can't respond, so Cardinals ball again. Aiden Alberti, one of his 2 touchdowns, finishes with 118 yards tonight. Willard still looking to get on the board. Russell Roughton can't find anyone. He's sacked by A.J. Bash. And then Brecken Gallardo gets his turn, punches it in from a few yards out. Webb City goes on to win 49-28.
To Neosho now. Wildcats host Branson tonight. Both teams sit at 2-3, trying to get back to 500. It's homecoming night. There's your queen, Aubrey Costello, being crowned tonight. Very first play of the game, though, to football. Quentin Hughes drops back, finds Isaiah Green. Takes it to the sideline, past the Pirates defense, untouched. It's a lot of running. 80 yards to the house. Neosho up 7-zip. And we're only 23 seconds into the ball game. Branson now deep in Wildcats territory. Luke McCormick hands off to Cade Grimm. Ends up barreling through the defense, finally finding the end zone after a hard fight. We're tied at 7 at the end of one. And Neosho with the ball now in the second. Hughes drops back, finds Colin Kivitt in stride past the defense. They would go for 2 after a penalty and convert it, so it's 15-7 Wildcats. Branson trying to tie things up. McCormick gives to Grimm again. He gets in there from 51 yards away. They would make the extra point. 15-14 Wildcats at that point in the second. Neosho would pull away, beating Branson 50-31.
The Carl Junction Bulldogs have lost 4 games in a row after winning their season opener over Ozark back in August, and their schedule doesn't get any easier in the next 2 weeks, facing 2 of the best teams in the COC. The Bulldogs host the undefeated Nixa Eagles tonight before they hit the road to face Joplin next week. Nixa leads in the first. Connor Knitzel next with Cale Combs. He walks it in. Eagles up by 14. CJ trying to get on the board. Dexter Merrill finds Braxton Dodds. He picks up a few extra yards. Bulldogs in a good spot now, but Jaden Antonelli flies in for the sack. Bulldogs go on to turn it over on downs. So Nixa with the ball again. Knitzel goes back to Combs. He dodges a few guys and takes off for a 68-yard touchdown run. 21-0 Eagles. Nixa rolls to a 56-8 win over Carl Junction.
I've stood next to that Combs kid from Nixa on the sideline at a couple games this year. He's so much bigger than he looks like he is on TV. He looks like a college player right now. Well, how about the Sarcoxy Bears? Sarcoxy a perfect 5-0 coming into the night. They try to stay undefeated on the road against the Miller Cardinals. Bears another big win, taking this one 56-14. Sarcoxy now 6-0. They'll be on the road next week against the Marionville Comets.
Coming up after the break, Frontenac and Columbus meet for a CNC rivalry game, and Fort Scott hosts Labette County. A little later, Quapaw tries to bounce back from their first loss of the season against Commerce. First, though, here's a few more scores out of Southwest Missouri.
Frontenac and Columbus have been 2 of the best teams in the CNC the last few years. This year, both teams are kind of off to slow starts. Frontenac is 2-2 in the first month, while Columbus is 1-3. Now, those 2 teams meet tonight in Columbus. Frontenac 2-0 on the road so far this year. Second quarter, Mario Mangini punches in the short touchdown for the Raiders. Did it on the ground, so Mangini also doing it through the air on the receiving end of the touchdown pass from Cal Turlip. 13-0 Raiders. Turlip still slinging it here. This time comes to the near side for Trey Kramer. Frontenac starts to pull away. Brett Hamilton trying to keep Columbus in it. Can't see him through the ref, but I promise he scored back there. In the end, though, Raiders roll tonight over the Titans 35-8. The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons, they've won back-to-back games to get to 500 this season. They try to make it 3 straight on the road against Paola. Pittsburgh gets it done in a close one, 20-14. Purple Dragons remain on the road next week, facing former SEK rival Independence.
The Fort Scott Tigers host an SEK rivalry game tonight against Labette County. Fort Scott is 1-3 in their first 4 games, with their 1 win coming against Independence in Week 3. The Tigers try to find some momentum tonight, while the Grizzlies try and pick up their first win of the fall. First snap of the game, ball gets loose. It's recovered by Cody Hamilton for Labette. Now after the turnover, Kendall Holtzman looks to pass but gets pressure from the defense. Garen Young gets the sack for Fort Scott. Later, Labette with the ball again. Holtzman connects with Trey Vincent for the first down. Second quarter now, finishing the drive. This time it's a touchdown pass to Matthew Boyle for the first score of the game. 7-0 Labette County. Looking to add to their lead here. Holtzman airs it out. Vincent jumps up and grabs it one-handed. What a catch. Grizzlies try to keep the momentum going. Holtzman looks for Vincent again, but it's picked off by Lennox Vaughn. Labette goes on to get their first win of the season, 25-8. Big one tonight for the Field Kinley Golden Tornado. Field Kinley tries to stay undefeated against Wamego, a team that is also 4-0 coming into the night. Field Kinley suffers their first loss, 34-6. They'll be on the road next Friday against Labette County.
We are at our final break here on Pressbox. When we come back, we're going to Oklahoma with highlights out of Quapaw. Plus, you get a chance to vote for this week's Performance of the Week. As we go to break, though, here are a few more of tonight's scores from Southeast Kansas.
Welcome back to our final segment here on Pressbox. We're headed to Oklahoma now with the Quapaw Wildcats hosting the Commerce Tigers.
Now, Quapaw has been on a roll in the first month of the season, going 3-1 to begin their schedule. Last time out, though, suffered their first loss of the season to Colcord, so the Wildcats looking to bounce back tonight against Commerce. Quapaw up 7-0. Commerce ball on the second. Caden Porter gets back there for the third down stop. Tigers have to punt. Ensuing Quapaw possession. Look at the moves here for Seth Stan Johnston. One of my favorite plays of the night. Finishes with a big stiff arm. Now under 30 seconds left in the half. Jack Derringer over the middle to Zane Stand. Blows by everybody. 30-yard score. Wildcats take a 13-0 lead at half. The Commerce defense making it tough in the third. Cale Epperson getting after Derringer. Actually a couple solid hits on the quarterback in the third for Epperson. But Derringer gets the last laugh here. Throws it out to Peyton Schapp. Quapaw wide receivers, tough to bring down. Schapp finds the end zone. In the end, Quapaw pulls away from Commerce 36-13.
Miami War Dogs are 2-2 in their first 4 games. There we go. They try to climb back over 500 on the road tonight against McLean. The War Dogs get it done. They win a tight one, 19-18. We've got a couple more things to get to before we go. First, it's time for our nominees for the Performance of the Week.
Now we do this right here at the end of every show on Friday night. We give you 3 options for the Performance of the Week. You go vote on it. Then Monday, we'll announce the winner. Now, here are the nominees this week. First, the Socoxy Bears. They roll by Miller to get to 6-0 this season. Then the Labette County Grizzlies. They get their first win of the season over Fort Scott. Finally, the Frontenac Raiders. Big rivalry win over the Columbus Titans. Now to vote, all you got to do, go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Click on who you want to vote for, and that's it. It's really that simple. We're going to keep this poll open till 9 p.m. on Sunday night.
Finally, huge rivalry game tomorrow afternoon at the college level. It's the latest edition of the Miners Bowl with the Pittsburg State Gorillas hosting the Missouri Southern Lions. Pitt State is 4-0, ranked 10th in the nation, while Missouri Southern is on a 3-game winning streak, heading into the weekend at 3-1 overall. This game begins at 2 o'clock tomorrow in Pittsburgh, and of course, we'll have highlights and post-game reaction tomorrow night on KOAM and Fox 14. That's all the time we have here tonight. If you missed anything, we'll have all of our highlights posted shortly on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com or on the KOAM Plus app. You can also check out a full replay of the show on Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on the 4 States CW. For now, though, we are out of time. I'm Dani-Terzer.
And I'm Jacob-Lenard. Go to that Pittsburgh State Missouri Southern game tomorrow. We're going to be out there. Thanks a lot for staying up with us. See you right back here tomorrow night.
Pass is complete in the flash. The number 6 says Stan Johnston. He makes a man miss. He's still on his